Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for today's video because today I want to share with you some of my most anticipated books that are going to be released in the fall. I literally have a total of 14 books that I want to talk to you guys about. Some of them are fantasy, some of them are thriller, some of them are horror. There's a couple of witchy books as well, and there are also some romance books in here. So I can't wait to share these with you. I have my iPad here because it's just easier for me to share and talk about these books with you. The first book I want to talk about is The September House, and that one is by Carissa Orlando. It comes out on September 5th. This one's a horror book. It's got some paranormal elements to it. All I know about this one is that it's about a woman who gets a really killer deal on a house that she just recently purchased. She's so excited. She's so happy about it. However, every year in September, she comes to find out that the walls start to bleed. Maybe there's some paranormal elements to it. Maybe it's haunted. I think her husband ends up leaving and saying, absolutely not. I am not going to live here. And she's adamant that she's going to make it work because she loves the house. It's her dream house. And she's just adamant that she's going to make it work no matter what. The little blurb just says, a woman is determined to stay in her dream home even after it becomes a haunted nightmare in this compulsively readable, twisty, and layered debut novel. That's all I really need to know about this one. I mean, look at the cover. The cover is so stunning and I just have to read it. I know I'm not going to read it September 1st, but I will read it this month at some point. I just have to. The next one on my list is described as a paranormal YA fantasy, and this one, I think it's more rom-com-y, which is kind of a bummer because when I think haunted library, paranormal elements, I don't really want to laugh. I want to be more scared, but nonetheless, the cover is stunning as well. I just can't wait to read it. This one's by Rachel Moore. It's about a prep school that has been haunted for years. The main character is destined to find the mystery behind the death of her father, I believe. She meets maybe a friendly ghost. I don't know. Radcliffe Prep, the third most haunted school in the country where a student's disappearance isn't uncommon and no one dares to stay in the library after dark. And Estee Logano enrolls with the hopes of finding her dead father. Not literally, of course. She doesn't believe in ghosts. Going to her dad's school just seems like her best hope at figuring out who he was. But then Estee meets Mateo, who is maybe, probably, definitely a real ghost, and an annoying one at that. When Mateo frames Estee for the theft of a rare book from the library's secret spire and then vanishes, Estee will have to track him down or risk being expelled and leaving Radcliffe early just like her father did. Except following her father's footsteps might be more dangerous than Estee ever anticipated. As she investigates the library with its secret passageways, hidden tunnels, and haunted halls, she learns that the student disappearances aren't just myth, and if she isn't careful, she'll be the next. I just can't wait to read that. It's got so many good elements in it. I'm so excited to get to that one. Also on Amazon, the little blurb, fun, moving, and heart-achingly real, this romantic romp and paranormal rom-com debut through a haunted library with trapdoors, ghosts, and memories is full of great love that triumphs over even death. Perfect for fans of The Night House and Cemetery Boys. I mean, I can't wait. What more can you ask for in a book? I just wish it wasn't really rom-com-y, but we'll see. I might still enjoy it just because of the elements that it has in it. Just because it's paranormal, it's got a haunted library, it's a haunted prep school. I'm in. The next one I want to talk about is You Again, and that one's by Kate Goldbeck. It's a contemporary romance, and this one comes out September 12th. Can't they stop hating each other long enough to fall in love? A commitment phobe and a hopeless romantic clash over and over again until heartbreak and unexpected chemistry bring them together in this clever enemies to friends to lovers debut romance. I'm so excited to read this one because it's got a little twist to it. They become enemies because they actually end up sleeping with the same woman, and so I'm curious to see how that all goes down and how afterwards you obviously know that they're gonna fall in love with each other. And can I just say how beautiful this cover is? I have to definitely read this one this month. The next one on my list is Hemlock Island by Kelly Armstrong. It's a horror and it comes out September 12th. I mean, look at this eerie cover. Doesn't that scream creepy vibes? Anything that's set around a lake and a lake house in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere, I am up for reading because I just love a very good creepy atmospheric book. Lainey Kilpatrick has been renting her vacation home to strangers. The invasion of privacy gives her panic attacks, but it's the only way she can keep her beloved Hemlock Island, the only thing she owns after a pandemic-fueled divorce. But broken belongings and campfires that nearly burned down the house has escalated to bloody bones, hex circles, and now terrified renters who fled after finding blood and nail marks all over the guest room closet, as though someone tried to claw their way out and failed. Ooh, that sounds very creepy. I am so excited to read that one. The next one is Witch of the Wild Things, and the title of this is so cute. Witch of the Wild Things by Raquel Vasquez Guillerland. It's considered a witchy fantasy romance. It's got some magical realism in it, which I am always up to read. It releases September 12th. Legend goes that long ago, a florist woman offended the old gods and their family was cursed as a result. Now every woman born to the family has a touch of magic. And really, that's all I really need to know because I just want to go into it kind of blind. I love reading witchy books in the fall, and this one sounds perfect. The next book on my list is The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic. I've heard so many good things about this. I've heard so many people being so excited to read this. I just had to get on board. This one is by Brianna Randall. It releases September 19th and it is a fantasy romance. It's also considered witchy with cozy paranormal elements to it, so it has a little bit of everything, which makes me so excited. And I believe this one is about a woman going through a heartache, but along the way she makes friends. I think there's some baking elements in it too, and I think every chapter in this book, or at least the end of it, has a new recipe, which wouldn't it be so fun to just read every chapter and try to attempt to make a recipe out of it? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to read this one. Maybe I'll vlog it. Maybe I'll vlog reading this specific book and make the recipe or attempt to make the recipe after each chapter. I think it's after each chapter, but I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it. For fans of practical magic and Gilmore Girls, The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic is a debut novel that explores the shields we build around our hearts to retain our own magic. Sadie Reveler has always believed that the curse of 4 heartbreaks that accompanies her magic would be worth the price. But when her grandmother is diagnosed with cancer with only weeks to live and her first heartbreak, Jake McNeely, returns to town after a decade, her carefully structured life begins to unravel. With the news of her grandmother's impending death, Sadie's estranged twin brother Seth returns to town, bringing with him deeply buried family secrets that threaten to tear Sadie's world apart. Their grandmother has been the backbone of the family for generations, and with her death, Sadie isn't sure she'll have the strength to keep the family and her magic together. As feelings for Jake begin to rekindle and her grandmother growing sicker by the day, Sadie faces the last of her heartbreaks and she has to decide, is love more important than magic? It sounds like it's going to make me cry. It sounds like it's going to bring so many emotions out of me, but I'm excited to get to it. I'm super excited. The next book on my list is one that I'm very excited about because if I'm not mistaken, I think this is my September First Illuminati special edition that I'll be receiving. And already, just by looking at the cover, the normal cover alone is beautiful as it is. I can only imagine how beautiful Illuminati's version is. I'm excited. I'm so excited. It's going to be my first Illuminati box and I can't wait to get to it. This one's called A Study in Drowning. It's by Ava Reed. It's a YA gothic fantasy dark academia. So it's got a little bit of everything in there. And I mean, look at this cover. It is so stunning. I'm so excited, you guys. This one comes out September 19th. Effie Sayer has always believed in fairy tales, haunted by visions of the fairy king since childhood. She's had no choice. Her tattered copy of Ingrid Emery's Mydren's epic about a mortal girl who falls in love with fairy king, then destroys him, is the only thing keeping her afloat. So when Mydren's family announces a contest to redesign the late author's estate, Effie feels certain it's her destiny. I'm excited. I can't wait to get to this one. The next one on my list is The Stranger Upstairs by Lisa M. Matlin. This one is considered a horror. It releases on September 26th. A social media influencer with a secret past buys a murder house to renovate, but finds more than she bargained for. Behind the peeling wallpaper is this gothic psychological debut. Anything that's psychological, I'm here for it. I love psychological thrillers, psychological horrors. When it gets in your head, That's the most creepiest for me. Now moving on to October. In October, I have 4 books that I'm very excited to get to. The first one is Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. This one is considered a thriller, and this one comes out October 3rd. A gothic southern thriller about a killer hunting a small Louisiana town where 2 outcasts, the preacher's daughter and the boy from the wrong side of the tracks, hold the key to uncovering the truth. Anything set in a small town about a killer hunting people, I mean, that to me is so creepy, especially because sometimes with these thrillers, when it's about a small town, sometimes the town is in on it or the community is also doing some shady stuff. I can't wait to get to it. The next one is Starling House by Alex E. Haro, and this one is a fantasy gothic horror, I believe. It's also going to be released October 3rd. A grim and gothic new tale about a small town haunted by secrets that can't stay buried and the sinister house that sits at the crossroads of it all. Again, another small town. Maybe this townspeople are doing shady things or trying to cover up something that happened. I am so excited about this. Next one on my list is a contemporary romance, and that one is the second book in the series of the Maples Hill series. The first book was Icebreaker, and this one is called Wildflower by Hannah Grace. This one also comes out in October, and I think this one takes place during camp. It's about camp counselors, something like that. 2 summer camp counselors who reconnect after a sizzling one-night stand. The cover is beautiful, of course, and I'm excited to read it. The next one on my list is about an author that I fell in love with last year. In fact, the first book I read from her is Spells for Forgetting, which is a magical realism, and I've raved about it on my channel. Her next book comes out October 17th, and this one is called The Unmaking of June Faro by Adriana Young. This one is also considered a magical realism, fantasy, romance, mystery, a little bit of everything, so I'm so excited about that one. A woman risks everything to end her family's centuries-old curse, solve her mother's disappearance, and find love. I mean, can you ask for more? I'm so excited. The next one, I have a love-hate relationship with this series because the first book in the series, I did not like that much. I gave it a 3-star because I was being nice and generous, but I just didn't like a lot of elements in that book. If you've watched my August wrap-up, you will know what book I'm talking about. This one happens to be the second book in the series. I'm not going to go into the details of this one because I don't want to give anything away, and I'm sure you've heard of Fourth Wing. I need to read this book because the way the first one ended made me intrigued to want to continue to the next book and maybe give this series another chance to impress me, shall we say. And that one is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. That's pretty much all I'm going to say about that book. The last book on my list is Do Your Worst by Rossi Danan. This one is contemporary fantasy romance with some paranormal elements to it. Riley Rhodes finally has a chance to turn her family's knack for the supernatural into a legitimate business when she's hired to break the curse of an infamous Scottish castle. The setting of it alone, I'm already there. I want to read about a Scottish castle that might be haunted. Used to working alone in her alienating occupation, she's pleasantly surprised to meet a handsome stranger upon arrival when he tries to get her fired. And that's all I want to know about that book. I mean, he tries to get her fired, and so I'm believing this is going to be an enemies to lovers. There's going to be some ghost paranormal themes in there. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you on my next one. Bye!